right, job seekers, trying to navigate the job market these days, it can feel like you're learning a whole new language. Am I right?
It really can.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Oh, I like this.
Mastering the lingo of landing that dream job.
Yes.
And to do that, we're going to go behind the scenes of another podcast.
Okay.
A super relatable one about, you guessed it, navigating the job market.
Ooh, fun. Meta. What's really cool about using a conversational podcast as our source is it's like we're eavesdropping on a chat between friends.
Yeah.
Picking up those natural phrases and tips that you won't find in a textbook.
Totally. It's like getting insider advice straight from the source.
Exactly.
So let me introduce you to our podcast hosts for today's deep dive, Jake and Emily.
Okay.
Right off the bat, they dive into how much the job search itself has changed, especially with technology.
Of course.
In fact, Emily had a pretty relatable experience with online job portals. Think LinkedIn, Indeed,
Oh, yeah.
Those sites we're practically glued to these days.
All the time. And she makes a really interesting point about those platforms. While incredibly useful, they can quickly become overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're new to the job search game. It's like stepping into a huge library with no Dewey Decimal System. Where do you even begin?
Exactly. It's so easy to get lost in the sea of job postings.
Right.
But that's where Jake's experience brings in an interesting perspective.
Okay.
He's a big advocate for the power of good old-fashioned networking. Now, before you think, networking, isn't that just a fancy word for awkward small talk?
Right.
Hear him out. He's not talking about passing out business cards at a stuffy event. He's talking about building genuine connections with people in your field.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's about fostering relationships and tapping into the hidden job market, those opportunities that never even make it to online postings.
Oh, interesting.
Think about it. Wouldn't you rather hear about a job opening from someone you trust? Someone who knows your skills and experience?
Right. It's like getting a personal recommendation, which can be invaluable in a competitive job market. Now, this doesn't mean ditching online platforms altogether.
Right.
It's about finding the right balance for you.
Yeah.
For some, online platforms might be a goldmine,
Totally.
while others might thrive in more personal networking settings. Have you thought about which approach might work best for you?
It's a question worth pondering because it can really influence how you approach your entire job search.
Yeah.
But regardless of whether you're a LinkedIn whiz or a networking ninja, Jake and Emily were both adamant about a few key things. First up, they were both adamant about tailoring your resume for every single job you apply for.
Oh, yeah.
Ditch the generic template and highlight the skills and experiences that make you the perfect fit for that specific role.
It's like Emily said, imagine you're a detective trying to solve a case. You wouldn't use the same clues for every investigation, would you? Each job application is a chance to showcase your unique skills and experiences, so make sure your resume reflects that.
Precisely. And speaking of showcasing your skills, Jake was particularly passionate about the power of a well-crafted cover letter.
Oh, the cover letter.
Yeah.
It can feel like a bit of a dinosaur in the digital age, but Jake made a really compelling point about its importance. He said, it's your chance to tell your story. To connect with the hiring manager on a human level and make them think, I need to meet this person.
It's like the trailer for a movie.
Yeah.
You want to pique their interest and leave them wanting more.
Right.
Use vivid language, share a compelling anecdote, and don't be afraid to inject some personality into your writing.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And finally, both Jake and Emily emphasize the importance of persistence.
Oh, for sure.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. And you're bound to encounter some roadblocks along the way.
Absolutely. Rejection is part of the process, but don't let it discourage you.
Right.
Learn from each experience, refine your approach, and keep putting yourself out there.
Yes.
And speaking of putting yourself out there, let's talk about job interviews. Specifically, the kind that can make even the most confident person break out in a cold sweat, the group interview.
Oh, yes, the group interview.
Yes. Emily actually shared a hilarious story about one she went through.
Oh, no.
Picture this. 5 other candidates, all vying for the same position.
Okay.
And she accidentally spilled coffee on the hiring manager's shoe.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a situation that can quickly spiral from professional to awkward.
Oh, yeah.
And it's becoming increasingly common as companies look for ways to assess candidates' teamwork and communication skills in real time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do you stand out from the crowd without stepping on everyone else's toes?
It's a delicate dance.
Right.
You want to be assertive and showcase your skills while also demonstrating respect for other candidates and a willingness to collaborate.
Sure.
Emily's advice: active listening is key.
Okay.
Pay attention to what others are saying. Look for opportunities to build on their ideas, and don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions.
It's like a team sport. You want to be a strong individual player, but you also need to work well with others to achieve a common goal.
Exactly. Now, before you even step foot in that group interview, or any interview for that matter, preparation is key.
Of course.
Emily swears by thorough company research.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, thorough.
Okay.
We're talking about going beyond their website and diving into the social media, recent news articles, even checking out their competitors.
I love that. It's like being a journalist, digging deep to uncover every bit of information you can find.
Right.
And it shows you're genuinely interested in the company and the role you're applying for.
It also equips you to answer those common interview questions with confidence and clarity.
Right.
Think about it. How much more impressive is it to say, I'm really impressed with your company's recent commitment to sustainability, and I'm excited to see how my skills in relevant area can contribute to those efforts.
Way more impressive than a generic, I'm a hard worker and I'm a fast learner. Speaking of which, what about that classic interview question? Tell me about yourself.
Oh, yeah. It's a deceptively simple question that can trip up even the most experienced professionals.
Right.
And this is where all that company research comes in handy.
Right.
Instead of launching into a chronological rundown of your resume, focus on highlighting the skills and experiences that are most relevant to the job you're interviewing for.
You're basically creating a mini commercial about yourself, tailored to that specific audience.
Exactly.
I like it.
And for those of you wondering, but what about my weaknesses?
Oh, yeah.
How do I address those without sounding like I'm interviewing myself for a job I don't even want?
Right.
Well, Emily has a great strategy for that, too.
Okay, I'm all ears.
She suggests choosing a weakness that's not mission critical to the role and framing it as something you're actively working to improve.
Okay.
For example, instead of saying, I'm a terrible public speaker,
Right. Yeah.
you could say, I'm working on becoming a more confident and engaging presenter. I recently joined Toastmasters, and I'm already seeing progress.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
It shows self-awareness, a willingness to learn, and it turns a potential negative into a positive.
Exactly.
Now, it's not all about answering their questions, is it?
Nope. Interviews are a two-way street.
Right.
You're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
Yes.
Emily's a big advocate for asking thoughtful questions at the end of an interview, not just as a formality, but to gather information and make sure the company and the role are the right fit for you.
I think a lot of people forget that it's easy to get caught up in the moment and just try to give the right answers, but it's also your opportunity to learn more about the company culture, the team dynamics, the growth opportunities.
Precisely. So let's say you aced that interview.
Okay.
Nailed those questions about your strengths and weaknesses and landed the job. Congrats. You're officially off the job market for now.
Ooh.
But the learning and adapting don't stop there.
Right.
In fact, those first few weeks on a new job can feel like navigating a whole new world with its own language, customs, and unspoken rules.
You know, like you walk in on the first day and it's like, am I supposed to know this already?
Totally. It's like being the new kid in school all over again.
Yeah.
You're excited, maybe a little nervous, desperately trying to figure out where you fit in.
Yeah, where are my people?
Right. And just like navigating those school hallways, navigating the workplace has its own set of social dynamics and unspoken rules.
Yeah, and one of those unspoken rules, the one that always trips people up,
Tell me.
is the art of office small talk.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those seemingly insignificant conversations about the weather, the weekend, the latest office gossip.
The kind of conversations that can make even the most extroverted person break out in a cold sweat.
Right. Emily even admitted that she used to dread those water cooler moments.
Really?
But she's come to realize just how important they are.
They're absolutely crucial for building rapport.
Fostering a sense of community and creating a more comfortable and collaborative work environment.
And sometimes those seemingly insignificant chats can lead to something more.
Totally.
A deeper connection.
Oh, yeah.
A friendship.
First.
Even a valuable mentorship.
Absolutely. Emily shared a story about how a casual conversation about her weekend plans led to a connection with a senior colleague who ended up becoming a mentor to her.
Wow.
You just never know where those seemingly small interactions might lead.
It reminds me of that saying, the greatest treasures are often found in the most unexpected places.
Yes, I love that.
So any tips for those of us who still find office small talk a bit, well, awkward?
Absolutely. First and foremost, be yourself.
Okay.
You don't need to be the life of the party or have a witty anecdote for every occasion.
Right.
Start by being a good listener and asking genuine questions.
Okay.
People love to talk about themselves, so ask about their weekend, their hobbies, their thoughts on the latest project.
It's about showing a genuine interest in the people around you.
Exactly. And if you're feeling stuck, Emily suggests having a few go-to conversation starters in your back pocket.
Okay, like what?
Things like, how was your weekend?
Yeah.
Have you tried that new coffee shop down the street?
Mm-hmm.
Or even a simple, good morning, how are you today? Can go a long way.
Simple but effective. And who knows, that simple good morning could be the start of a great conversation,
Right.
a new friendship, or even a career-changing connection.
You never know.
And as we wrap up our deep dive into the language of the modern job market,
Yes.
it's important to remember that communication is key, whether you're crafting the perfect resume, acing that interview, or navigating the nuances of office small talk.
It's about expressing yourself clearly, listening attentively, and building meaningful connections with the people around you. And while our focus today was on English,
Right.
these skills are transferable to any language,
Oh, yeah.
any culture, any workplace.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yes.
That's a wrap on today's deep dive. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and practical tips to help you navigate the exciting and sometimes daunting world of the modern job market. Until next time, keep those conversations flowing, keep learning, and keep striving for success.